friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a card using Newton's Nook, Whispering Pines, and Serene Silhouettes in combination with a sentiment from Reverse Confetti's Tall Blooms. So I'm actually not going to be doing any coloring today. I'm making a sympathy card. My son approached me a few weeks ago and asked me if I would make a sympathy card for his soccer coach whose father had sadly passed away, and the entire team wanted to have a card that they could sign. So I decided to make this card for them, and I thought I would go ahead and film it because sympathy cards can be difficult to make, so I thought maybe it would help you guys out. So I'm stamping out my images with some deep sea ink from Lawn Fawn onto a pale blue piece of cardstock that is MFT's snow cone cardstock, which I die cut with the Lawn Fawn stitch journaling card die. So I'm going to stamp that down a couple of times to get a good impression because these are solid image stamps, so you just want to make sure that they're nice and bold and that you're not having any kind of white space, especially since these were stamps that I had never stamped before. Now those trees are supposed to be a little bit not solid, so that's the look that they're going for, but the deer and the bird I wanted to be really solid in the coverage. To give them a little added depth, I also took the Lawn Fawn Black Licorice ink pad and just selectively inked up the top edges of those images. And then I'm going to stamp that down right over top of the dark blue. It's real hard to notice on camera, but it did add a little bit of a darker effect at the top in real life. Then I'm going to take a piece of white scrap cardstock that I die cut with that same journaling card die. I'm going to hold it over top of the focal panel and tear off the top half to create a snowdrift with a soft edge. So it's just going to give it kind of a little bit more of a serene and delicate feeling. At least that's the look that I was going for. And then I'm going to pop that back into my MISTI and stamp my sentiment. I'm using that Lawn Fawn Deep Sea ink once again, and the sentiment is from the stamp set that I showed at the beginning, the Reverse Confetti Tall Blooms. I don't have very many sympathy sentiments, but I thought this was a good one to have. And it says, "With sympathy, thinking of you during this time." And I really like that scripty font on the top half. I just thought that was really pretty and just went well for a sympathy card. Then I'm going to pop my card base in my MISTI. I'm using that MFT snow cone cardstock once again, and I'm stamping an additional pine tree and a deer. I'm not going to add an additional sentiment because the whole team is going to be signing this card, and so they need to have plenty of room. Then I'll take some glue and adhere that snowbank down to the bottom of the focal panel. For my pattern papers, I'll be using the Simple Stories Heart Collection, and I'm going to flip through and choose a couple of prints that I thought would go well. I thought this was a good one because it's very cool toned, so it just kind of fits with that kind of sympathy vibe. So I picked out that plaid with the gray and blue and then just a tiny bit of yellow, and it also had a gray pattern that I thought would work well on the reverse. And then I kind of liked this subtle gold print as well. So those are the three patterns that I'm going to be using. I cut down the plaid with the Lawn Fawn Stitch Rectangle Stackables, and I'm going to glue that to cover the entire card front. So it just has a little bit of stitching detail on the outside edge that I thought would just give it a nice polished look. And then I'm going to take this gold print, which I just trimmed down with my paper trimmer, and then used the same die just to get that stitching detail to line up on the two sides. And then this little gray print, which is the reverse of the blue plaid, I also ran it through with that same die, but just going in the opposite direction. Then I'll take my focal panel, which I've added some foam tape to the back of, and I'm going to pop that down in the center of the card. So I'm just taking my time to line that up nice and straight, and then I'll press it down into place. For the final embellishments, I just thought it needed a little something, but I didn't want to add too much since, you know, this is a sympathy card and I want to keep things kind of just kind of modest and in moderation. But I found these enamel dots from the Snow Day collection from Cartabella that I thought went really well with this pattern paper. So I chose 3 different colors. There's a gray, a navy, and an aqua, and also 3 different sizes as well, and I added those to the gray strip of pattern paper. So it's just something subtle that draws your eye outward but doesn't add, you know, too much detail. So that is going to complete my card for today, and there's another peek at the inside. I really hope you guys found this video helpful. I know I always have a hard time making sympathy cards because of the somber occasion. It's just not a time for bright, colorful, cheerful, happy cards. So you want something that's a little bit more tasteful, something that's maybe cool toned and just not so many bright colors. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Here are 2 extra videos that I thought you might also be interested in, so you can check those out if you like. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.